同学们，大家好。Sorry， 今天我们讲新概念英语第三册的第3课啊。我把这个课文念一遍啊。An unknown goddess. Some time ago, an interesting discovery was made by archaeologists on the Aegean island of Kir. An American team explored a temple which stands in an ancient city on the promontory of Irene. The city at one time must have been prosperous, for it enjoyed a high level of civilization. Houses, often 3 stories high, were built of stone. They had large rooms with beautifully decorated walls. The city was even equipped with a drainage system, for a great many clay pipes were found beneath the narrow streets. The temple, which the archaeologists explored, was used as a place of worship from the 15th century BC until Roman times. In the most sacred room of the temple, clay fragments of 15 statues were found. Each of these represented a goddess and had at one time been painted. The body of one statue was found among remains dating from the 15th century BC. Its missing head happened to be among remains of the 5th century BC. This head must have been found in the classical times and carefully preserved. It was very old and precious even then. When the archaeologists reconstructed the fragments, they were amazed to find that the goddess turned out to be a very modern-looking woman. She stood 3 feet high, and her hands rested on her hip. She was wearing a full-length skirt, which swept the ground. Despite her great age, she was very graceful indeed. But so far, the archaeologists have been unable to discover her identity. 好，那么我们看这个第一句啊。Some time ago, an interesting discovery was made by us. 好，那么这一句比较简单啊，也不用说了啊。Was made by us only. 好，那么我们看下面一句啊。American team explored a temple which stands in an ancient city on the promenade. 好，那么这一句呢？这一句里面就是一个定语从句 ，which stands in an ancient city on the promontory 啊。这一句是定语从句，修饰这个 temple 的啊。那么也比较简单啊。那么 The city at one time must have been prosperous, for it enjoyed a high level of civilization. 那么这一句呢，那么这里呢有一个以 for 引导的原因状语从句啊。那么这个课文里面大家注意啊，我们上了这个英语第3册的3课啊，前面1、2、3课都有好像这种结构的啊，以 for 引导的原因状语从句啊。然后这个 houses of stories were built of stone。那么这里呢，这个普字号后面的这个是插入语啊，这个是插入语一样的啊。Houses were built of stone 啊。They had large rooms with beautifully decorated walls 啊，这个是简单句啊。The city was even equipped with a drainage system for 那么这一句呢，这里呢又是一个以 for 引导的原因状语从句啊。这个现象很多啊。For a great many clay pipes were found beneath the narrow streets 啊。The temple which the archaeologists explored was used as a place of worship from until Roman time. 那么这里有一个定语从句，就是 temple 的啊。The temple which the archaeologists explored 啊，那么它是一个定语从句，就是 temple 的。In the most sacred room of the temple, clay fragments of 15 statues were found. 这句简单句啊。Each of these represented a goddess and had one of it been painted 啊。 那么这一句呢，大家注意啊，它有一个并列的谓语啊。第一个是 represented goddess， each of these represented goddess and each of these had at one time been painted 啊。这里呢是两个谓语并列啊，用一个 and， 这个 and 并列了两个谓语啊，主语是 each of these 啊。好。The body of one statue was found among remains dating from 15th century BC 啊。那么这里呢，大家注意了这个 dating 啊 ，dating from the 15th century BC 啊，这个呢是一个现在分词短语啊。这个现在分词短语修饰这个 remains 啊，这个 remains 是那个可以 dating from the 15th century BC 啊，这个是修饰 remains， 这个是一个现在分词短语。Its missing head happened to be among the remains of the 15th century BC 啊。那么这里有一个不定式啊 ，happen to be among the remains 啊，这个不定式啊，就是这个就是它是那个 happen 啊，这个做状语的啊 ，happen 的后面这个动词是 happen 啊 ，happen to be among 这个是表示一个应该怎么说啊 ？The head happened to be 这个是应该是主语补语啊。It's missing head， 它是补助说明这个 head 的啊。To be among remains of the 15th century 啊，这个是一个不定式，做补语的，主语补语啊。好，This head must have been found in the classical times and carefully preserved 啊。那么同学们，这句句子啊，这句子我们前面提到过的啊，这句句子呢，你呢也可以有两种分析啊。一种分析呢，就是说，那首先主语是这个 this head， 那么它的并列成分呢有两种分析方法。一种呢就是说 must have been found in the classical times， 这个是一个谓语，对不对？然后这个谓语呢跟后面这个 carefully preserved 呢这个谓语呢，这两个谓语并列。那么这样的话呢，等于说 this head sorry 啊它是应该是这样，sorry 我说错了，这个并列啊，它只能是这样的，应该是这样啊，第一种 carefully preserved， 那么它这个并列啊只有一种意思，因为这里的这个 preserved 是一个过去分词啊，那么它是这个 sorry。并列的成分，一个是 found in must have been found in classic time 这个并列，和这个 carefully preserved 并列的啊，这两个并列的啊。那么实际上面后面这个什么 ，this head must have been carefully preserved 啊。所以呢，这里呢只有一种可能，我说错了，因为这里这个是过去分词，过去分词的话它是被动的，它是被动语态，那么它的那个前面的动词省略的就是那个 must have been 啊。它省略了 must have been， 后面的这个叫什么？过去分词前面，它省略了 must have been， 那么也就是等于说，它的那个并列是 found in classical time 跟 carefully preserved 这两个呢用 and 并列起来的啊，是这个只有一种可能性，因为这里这个动词啊，这个不是动词啊，这个是过去分词啊。那么这一句好，后面 it was very old and precious even then， 这个不用说了。后面 when the archaeologists reconstructed they were amazed to find that the goddess turned out to be very very 好，这一句呢，首先前面这个是时间状语从句 ，when the archaeologists reconstructed the fragments， 这个是一个时间状语从句，然后这个主句 they were amazed， 对不对？然后呢，就是说这个呢是一个状语啊。不定式做状语 to find， that blah blah blah， 这个呢是状语啊 ，amazed， 他们是 amazed。OK， 那么这里啊，这里这个 to find that the goddess 这个不定式啊，这个不定式实际上这里啊是做这个 amazed 的那个补助语啊，这个 amazed they were amazed， 这个 amazed 是形容词啊，在这里呢这个 amazed 是形容词，那么那么后面呢这个不定式啊 to find that the goddess blah blah blah， 这个呢就是不定式啊做这个形容词 amazed 的补语啊，我以前说过了啊，上2节课我说过，这个形容词啊后面这个补语啊可以跟 that 分句，也可以跟不定式，这里呢跟了一个不定式啊，那么这个不定式里面还有一个分句啊 that the goddess turned out to be a very woman， 这个呢是一个名词性的从句啊，做这个 find 的宾语啊，这是一个宾语从句啊，做这个 find 的宾语的啊，宾语从句，这个是啊 ，that the goddess turned out to be a very modern-looking woman 哈。She stood 3 feet and her hands rested 啊，这个是一个并列句啊，这个比较简单。She was wearing a full-length skirt which swept the ground。那么这一句里面呢，这个是一个定语从句啊 ，which swept the ground 就是修饰这个 skirt 的，她的裙子啊 ，which swept the ground 啊。然后是 despite her age, she was very graceful indeed. But so far the athletics 好，那么这个呢是两句并列的，这是第一句 ，despite she was very graceful indeed。然后第二句这个是转折的 ，but so far the archaeologists have been unable to discover her identity 啊，这个是两句并列，也比较简单这句句子啊。好，那么今天这一课呢就讲到这里，好，谢谢大家，再见。